Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Meg Moonbeam and Jens Pateo YouTube, Rumble, and X channels. We are here to talk about a very interesting subject today with you all, which is AI, the spiritual perspective, and astrology of AI as well. Jensi, how are you doing?
I'm good. It's still very nice weather in Belgium, so I'm happy.
Yes, it is. I think the longest period ever that I've been in Belgium with you where we've had sun, lots and lots of sun. So my prayers have been answered. I'm very, very grateful for that. For those of you who don't know, Belgium is known to be very rainy and windy, but beautiful weather, but at the same time, a drought happening at the moment. So
Yeah, it's like we've had rain like last 2 years. I mean, up until like 6 months ago, we had nonstop rain. I mean, and it
yeah.
was absolutely horrible. But now it turned really nice. But now, of course, there's a bit of a drought. But we've experienced this before, so I'm not worried.
All good. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from if you feel like sharing. And before we get into AI, our topic for today's video, we want to share with you guys that Jens and I have a soulful summer solstice retreat weekend coming up that we are hosting that is almost sold out. We've only got a few spaces left. So this is going to be from Friday, June 27th to Monday, June 30th at the world-renowned Northern Edge Retreat Center. So excited to be going there in Algonquin Provincial Park. And Jensi, do you want to explain a little bit about this upcoming retreat that we're doing for those who maybe haven't heard about it yet?
Yeah, it's very fitting. Well, it's actually the opposite of AI. It's going out in nature, really connecting with these natural energies, these natural frequencies, because we're surrounded by so much 5D and now 6G talking about. It's just, our phones also emit natural frequencies, and we use them often. So, it's really a rewilding experience, of course, like we've done in our previous retreats, based with with the meditations, the shamanic aspect also that Meg also loves to bring in, and I also really like. The ceremonies we're going to do, so it's totally focused on that, grounding, rewilding, connecting back to our roots, and of course with the meditations we always offer all the things we do, lots of walks in nature. So I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, I'm really, really excited for it too. So if you'd like to sign up or for full details, you can go check out my website, megmoonbeam.com. And also check out Jens's book, which is now in English, amazing book, A World in Transition, which is available over at Amazon. You've been getting rave reviews, Jensi, about your book, which was first published in Dutch and now it's in English. Available as well. I call it like a handbook for not just conspiracy theorists and woo-woo people, but also literally the proof. You're so good at breaking down all the facts and reasons why the world is the way it is at the moment, with the elites that are losing their power at the moment, what their intentions have been, and how we can move forward from that. Is that a pretty good synopsis, or is there a different way that you describe it?
No, that's a good synopsis. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can go support Jens's work by going and getting A World in Transition. So, okay, let's move to the meat and potatoes of today's video, which is AI. And you actually came, I think it was you, maybe it was me, I can't remember. We're talking all the time, but one of us came up with the idea to do this talk on AI. Why do you think this is an important topic right now, to look at the spiritual perspective and also astrology of this?
I think it's very important because the spiritual perspective in our modern day society is kind of getting lost. I mean, all these countries are doing this AI race, China, now Europe, now the US. They're all in this AI race, and they're not really thinking straight, in my opinion. They all want to be, that the top on their game, and they don't want to stay behind. And now, Trump started the AI race, and then China, and then Europe joins in. And they want to do it with regulations. All, I mean, even in the US, Europe, in China, they all say they want to deregulate it because they want to win the race, so to speak. But what gets lost here in all this noise and static of progress and new technology is the spiritual and moral and ethical aspect of it. So that's why it's so important to also consider that, and that's why we're doing this video to in a way, and as we're going to go into this video, this is going to become more clear to dispel any fear that people might have about AI, but also to warn a little bit, because there's a lot more behind this than mainstream I would say mainstream people or mainstream science would like to admit.
Yeah, for sure. So where would you like to start with this? I know you've prepared a lot to go over with some clips and things, and I've prepared a bit of the astrology around AI in our current times. Where would you like to start?
I don't know. Would you love to? Would I start with the videos and then you go into the astrology more towards the end?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, so I'm going to do a little presentation here about how AI is impacting our lives and how it's going to get really crazy. And then Meg is going to go into the astrology. So I want to show you some videos of something new that Google brought out, and it's called VO3, and it's their text to video generator, which basically means you just put in a few lines of text of a scene you want to see, and the AI creates the scene. It's totally fake, it's totally virtual, but it looks very real. I'm going to give you this first example here and it only actually came out 2 days ago, their new model VO3, and it broke the internet because people are saying this is crazy. You cannot see the difference between the real world and AI anymore, and that's kind of tricky, and we're going to go into that. But first, I'm going to show you this video, a few videos here. It's absolutely crazy. So let me show you this first video that is created by Google News AI model that's just better than anything else we've seen.
What's one move with AI that makes haters go crazy every time?
Oh, y'all gotta give them that. This is wild. It's over. We are cooked on that thread. You get me?
So when you see this looks totally photorealistic, and this is just text. Just describe give me a guy interviewing a girl, and it creates it, and you can even tune the voices, tune the way it looks. It's absolutely crazy. Let me give you another example here of how powerful it is. This, you can even say it has to look old, for example, or you can, for example, make it look 80s or VHS style. And I'm going to give you this example here also by this new model of Google, and it's a reptilian in it, and I found it kind of fitting because we talk about aliens, and I talk about aliens and reptilians sometimes. So this is also generated by Google. This is just a few days old.
On my home planet, no one cares, but on Earth, I'm a rock star. It's awesome.
Alpha, Alpha, Alpha! Centauri!
You humans are so funny!
So this is pretty crazy. You see in the first the first scene, it looked more like an 80s sitcom. So it can even do that. It's absolutely insane. And now the last example I want to give you is this is a guy that shoots professional ads for the pharmaceutical industry, and he usually spends with 20 people shooting these scenes, spending like $100,000 shooting top professional grade commercials, and he created this pharmaceutical commercial in just a few hours, or just 1 hour, with the new Google thing, and you can't even see the difference. So let me play that here.
Everything for my depression. Nothing worked.
Every day felt heavy. I felt trapped.
Then I tried Puppermin.
Our prescription helps your body secrete a special pheromone that attracts puppies.
I took the pill before bed, and when I woke up, there he was, the love of my life.
The pill does not target depression directly, but we've found that it's really difficult to be depressed when cute dogs show up at your doorstep.
I used to feel so empty, but now I feel joy and mild concern how a pee stain got on the ceiling. My puppy listens twice as good as my ex-husband.
So it just continues. So this is like really professional. And these days, I mean, it's just come out. It's still quite expensive to make long form videos on this Google VO3 because they charge, and it uses a lot of electricity, because AI uses a lot of electricity, a lot of power to generate these videos. So he created this, and it cost him $500. And a professional, shoot with all the bells and whistles would cost him like 10 to 20 times as much. So this is how this professional quality, even filmmaking, is going to come into the hands of people like us. It's just going to be done by AI, and this is just new. What will it do in 2 years? What will it do in 5 years, in 10 years? It will be a lot cheaper. So Hollywood movies will be made totally virtual. Now, I prefer the real thing. So this is a totally disruptive technology. This is going to disrupt our lives, disrupt the way a lot of facets, and I think Meg will probably talk about more in the astrological part. This is going to disrupt all the things. And a last clip I want to show you before we go on is and maybe this is something you will like, Meg, I don't know. It's AI shopping for clothes, so let me show it. So this is here how you can actually take pictures of yourself and put your clothes on the pictures with the new Google AI shopping. So you're just shopping on your phone, then it does a little bit of a calculation, and boom, your picture that you want with those clothes, and you can immediately see how you look in those clothes and if you like it or not. And you can tune it. You can just swipe and it gives you the clothes. So it's just absolutely crazy. And this is gonna come more and more into our lives. I mean, it's here to stay. It's gonna come everywhere, basically. Is this something you would try? Is this something you would like or not?
Well, okay, first of all, those 3 first clips that you played, they do look really, really realistic, but I could tell that those are all AI. There's something about them that still looks a little bit off AI. Maybe that's my discernment, but nonetheless, especially that first one, I think looked the most real with those girls on the side of the street. Yeah, it's kind of scary because it creates a lot of unknowns for us. And this is a kind of technology that could completely change the world and everything that we know about the world so far.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, it's gonna really disrupt. It's like, when we went from horses to the automobile to cars, basically, it totally disrupted our way of life. Because with horses, it took a long time to get somewhere, and then with cars, it changed everything. It changed everything. So it's here to stay. And I'm not afraid of technological progress. I want to stress to people, we don't have to be afraid of AI. AI is just a technology. I've always say it's the technology that matters. That it's not the technology that matters, but it's the people behind it who matter. And of course, we know that some of the AI is in not so good hands. I mean, some people want to go into transhumanism. I could maybe talk a little bit more about it after Meg did her thing. But before I give Meg the stage, I want to talk a little bit about using it as a personal choice. If you really are uncomfortable with it, there's no way you have to use it, right? You can some people don't want to have a phone. I know people who don't want to have a phone, and that's good for them. That's a personal. I didn't want to have a phone for a long time until I got one as a president. Then I got hooked, so to say. But yeah, it's up to your personal choice if you want to use it or not, of course. But I don't want to stress, because I see in the conspiracy community, there's fear around AI, and I don't think that's a good way to approach this. I think we do not need to be fearful, because it can also serve humanity. And now some people may say how it can serve us. Yes, it can serve us if it makes certain jobs easier. For example, like I said, the cars, when the automobiles came, they did a lot more for us. That we could get a lot faster. I'm talking about dishwashers. Most people use dishwashers. Okay, you can be really old school and watch the dishes yourself, but a dishwasher is basically a robot. So wherever AI can make our lives easier and take away some of those burdens that just take time and you just don't want to do them, like a washing machine. The people used to wash to wash clothes. They used to wash it with hands, and it was very intensive. Now we have washing machines, and we love them. They save us time. So where it can save me time, I sometimes have used AI for that. For example, for simple things where it really, for example, in my previous job, I was part of that was being a computer programmer. Was a small part of my job, and then that was in the beginning of ChatGPT. I think 3 years ago. And I had to, do this manipulation on a huge list that contained thousands of names. And I had to write a script for that. Instead of me writing the script, which would take me like 2 hours, I asked ChatGPT, can you write me this script? And that does this. And it did it in 5 seconds. So of course I'm going to use it. It saves me 2 hours of work. So that kind of application, I don't think it's bad. But if you are against it, that's fine. Just do the 2 hours. Now, where I will say that it gets dangerous to use AI, and I think Meg can attest to that, is when you start using AI to write your own stuff. I'm going to give you an example. For example, I wrote a book, and I discovered that writing is one of my gifts. Like, not to brag, but it's just something that flows naturally to me. So I am not going to use AI to write my book or write my posts on social media, right? Because then you take away the human element. When I
Right.
write something, it's the human element that comes into it. Don't do that. So that's where I say don't do that. Don't sublimate your gifts, because it's very tempting. And I think Meg can also talk about that, is how some astrologers just ask ChatGPT, okay, give me now, well, what does full moon in Gemini do? And then just copy the text and paste it as their own. And they're lazy. They're just lazy. There's no human element in it. So don't sublimate your gifts. What do you think about that? And have you seen it in the astrological field too?
Yeah, that's a very good point. I think number one, discernment is super, super important. You know, many of you guys who have been following me, or if you're new to our channels, I'm a professional Western astrologer. That's one of the things I do. And, you know, being a good astrologer, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of practice. It's a lot of research. And I actually find it really offensive towards the astrological community. I'll just go on a tangent for a second here, that I've seen some of my fellow astrologers out there literally making full-on content from AI, none of it coming from themselves, none of it coming from their own research, none of it coming from their own intuition, because also astrology is a spiritual science, which does bring in the intuitive abilities as well, if you want to go that way. And I've also noticed some people, and not just in astrology, but actually our own, Jens, like wellness, spiritual, astrological, woo-woo field, some people will literally word for word steal written content from someone else and post it as their own and make people think that's their own. That's really fucked up. That's really not spiritually ethical and not good karma when somebody else put all that energy into writing that. So I've been noticing that. That's kind of a side note, but does have to do with AI in the sense that I feel spiritually there can be amazing things that can come from AI, and we can get to that in the astrological piece, which some people may be triggered by me saying. But the truth is that it's here, right? On the timeline that we are living on in 2025, you and I sitting here and anybody listening to this video, AI is here and it's probably not going away, right? So if it's here and it's not going away, and we live in a universe where I believe we are being supported at all times. I believe we are entering the age of Aquarius. I believe that if something was totally evil and effed up, it wouldn't be allowed to happen. If something wasn't really if something was really out of alignment for Earth's highest good, it wouldn't be allowed. So the truth is, AI is being allowed for some reason, right? So it's important, this subject that we're doing on the spiritual perspective, because how can we use it properly? What are the negative ways of using it? And I think what's coming up for me personally with AI is I'm only going to use it, and I so far have only used it unless it's in a scenario where it's helping me save a lot of time on something. I'm not going to use AI to just ask simple questions of, where's the nearest coffee shop near me right now, right? Instead of that, because that's taking away my intelligence, that's taking away my social skills. Instead of that, maybe I'm going to ask someone near me, hey, do you know where the nearest coffee shop is? Hey, do you know where there's a really good, local restaurant around here? So using that as an example of, I don't use it for little things like that. I will say that I have used AI a few times in my astrological research to ask very complex questions that if the AI wasn't there, it would literally take me days to figure certain things out astrologically, such as, ChatGPT, when was the last time we had Saturn and Neptune at this position with this kind of war going on, with this kind of leader in history? And then it gives me that right away. And whenever I do use it, I do say it in my videos and in my blog posts. So I've used it for that. I've also used it recently, and I can bring this up here to show you. This is an AI generated picture that I'm using for kind of like the advertisement for an upcoming lecture, in-person lecture that I'm going to be doing on the age of Aquarius. And, I was looking at images that I could maybe use, and everything was kind of not resonating. And then I said to Jens, could you help me? Because I know he knows how to do this. Could you help me figure out how to do an AI generative picture where I want to have a picture with a group of people holding hands in community, because that's what the age of Aquarius is all about, with the stars, with the sky, with the Aquarian symbol. And we got this from AI, which I think is actually pretty cool. I think it looks cool. And to me, it's artistic. Of course, it's not a person making that. It's not an organic person making that, but I think it looks cool. And that's the vision of what I had for that lecture poster. So I'm happy to use it for that. I'm trying to think if I use AI for anything else at the moment. Oh, I used AI recently. My best friend Sunny and I used AI to edit our astrological natural calendar that we just put out on the Scorpling shop. Link is in the description below. It didn't write it for us. Let me be very clear. We made a 77-page calendar organically ourselves, but we did use AI to edit the spelling mistakes and stuff like that. But even then, there was a lot of mistakes that it didn't catch. So sorry, I went off on a little bit of a tangent there, but I think, we're just at the beginning of this technology, and a lot is about to be revealed about it. I'll get into that with the astrology, but I think discernment and ethics are very, very important with this subject, because it's very easy to go into the dark side, to use it unconsciously, and scary in the sense that we can lose our intelligence through being using and overstimulating the AI, right? Losing basic skills, which you may not be thinking in the moment, oh, I'm just going to every day ask questions to the AI. That you're literally losing your own intelligence by doing that, your own brain faculty, your own social skills by maybe talking to other people about it. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's very, very pertinent what you're saying there is like, don't lose your gifts, don't lose your humanness by relying too much on AI. There's already reports of people being addicted to ChatGPT. Like with any technology, it's like I'm not afraid of it, but we do need to have strict safeguards around it. It's like nuclear technology. I mean, Musk is even saying that it's like nuclear technology, but then he's saying, then that's like the weird thing he says is like, we're just going to have to merge with it to survive it. Like that's transhumanism, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I can talk a little bit about transhumanism at the end. But, I think we're at the point where you can start talking about the astrology of it all. So I'm quite curious, actually.
Yeah. So, okay. First of all, it's very interesting. There's many different, I am a Western astrologer, for those of you who don't know. There's a lot of astrological markers and transits going on at the moment that show, AI growing and really becoming a part of society on the planet. So the first thing that we've got going on is in the great astrological ages, we are entering the age of Aquarius. And Aquarius, of course, is the sign that rules technology, the future, innovation, advancement. So no surprise to me at all that as we're entering the age of Aquarius, we have this huge advancement of AI coming to the forefront, which is going to totally change society if we continue to use it, right? So we're filming this video on May 23rd, 2025. And we've got some interesting stuff going on. We've had ever since November, the end of November 2024, Pluto full on having entered the sign of Aquarius. Now, we have not had this since the 1700s. The last time we had Pluto in Aquarius was the French Revolution, the American independence. Yes, Aquarius rules technology, AI, any sort of innovation or invention, but it also rules freedom. Okay. And I forgot to say, in those greater astrological ages, the age of Aquarius is a light age. This is not a dark age. We are coming out of a long cycle of being in a dark age. And I think in the end, we're going to be able to balance out the light side and the dark side of AI. So Pluto, the planet of power and transformation, has been in the sign of Aquarius, which is AI and technology and innovation. And Pluto brings power to these areas. Of course, we're seeing AI kind of blow up all over the place in different ways with ChatGPT and Grok, and there's many other ways of using it. And what's interesting is Pluto rules the dark side of life. Manipulativeness, criminality, dark arts, secrets, the hidden side. So as we're in this journey of Pluto and Aquarius from end of 2024 full on to 2044, the dark side of technology and AI and how it's been used up until this point will be revealed. And that will be challenging and that will be scary. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. And I feel like we're actually in the thick of it right now as we're speaking, because not only is Pluto in Aquarius, Pluto is now retrograde in Aquarius as of May 4th, going all the way until October 13th, 2025. And when a planet is retrograde, we actually feel its energy even stronger. And it's inviting us to review and reflect on that area, whatever areas of life are ruled by that planet and the sign that it's in. So I think, Jens, during this Pluto in retrograde time from now until October 13th, there will be major kind of uncomfortable or freaky truths revealed around the truth of AI, the truth of who really invented it, where did it really come from, what are the intentions around it from the dark side, Pluto. How can we transmute that? How can we become aware of that? How can we heal from that to be able to use it in the positive? The higher expression of Pluto is to, like Scorpio, the sign that it rules, rise from the ashes of the darkness into the light and be in self-mastery, right? So yes, AI and technology can go into a really negative place, but we can also use it in very profound positive ways, which some people may get triggered by what I'm about to say, but I've been harping on this for the past year, that in August, September 2025, with all of the outermost planets, Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus in air and fire signs, all at exactly 1 degree in perfect positive aspects, we're going to have huge world innovations in many areas, including health. Neptune is the health field and institutions. Pluto in Aquarius, AI. Uranus, the dispositor of Pluto and Aquarius, because Uranus is the ruling planet of Aquarius, will be in Gemini by that point. He's entering Gemini July 7th, making the Pluto and Aquarius transit even stronger and more profound. So we're still not even, Jens, in the height of this yet, because the ruling planet of Aquarius, Uranus, has been in Taurus, which is its fall position, its weakest position. So imagine the innovation that's going to happen once Uranus goes into Gemini starting July 7th. This is when we're going to see really interesting, even more interesting innovation with AI and technology. I think what might freak you guys out is AI is going to help us heal diseases and unlock health mysteries starting in 2025, going until 2026, which I think some people are going to be very resistant to, because AI is not an actual person. AI is not sentient, right? But that can be one of the positives of this technology, is it can literally, through its information and going through things in a way that the human brain cannot, unless you're the biggest genius in the world, it's literally going to help us solve mysteries of health and diseases. Do you want to say anything to that, Jens?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, because it is true. The thing that AI is really good at is recognizing patterns, for example. Like humans can't do that. AI can take in so much data at the same time, analyze it, and can recognize certain patterns. So it can, for example, it can recognize a picture, for example, an X-ray or something. And in some cases, it is already a lot better than recognizing certain patterns than a human. But of course, the danger here is that, you know, the humans get too much reliant on the AI for their decision making. So that's something I think should be really stressed also in the future. Like when you're a doctor and you're going to use these AI tools, if they can serve us, that's fine. But we always have to have the last words. We always have to have, in my opinion, human decision making as the last judge, because that's something they want to replace. They want these technocrats, you know, like the Klaus Schwabs, and, you know, they want to replace human decision making and give it all to AI. That's why they want to make AI the god. Like Ray Kurzweil, the former, scientific head at Google, he talks about the singularity for years. How he says, you know, we're going to go into this singularity where we're going to merge our consciousness with AI, and we're going to stop becoming human. So that's where the transhumanism comes in, and that's where I say no, stop, because that's the dangerous part of AI that Meg is speaking about. The dangerous part of this age of Aquarius is cyborgs, transhumanism, uploading your consciousness to the cloud, and all these crazy things, losing your humanness. The human is a divine design. We are human. We are incredible souls. And if we're going to put our consciousness, if you're going to confine it to a cyborg body, for example, we are going to lose what it means to be human. It is what Klaus Schwab is saying. It's going to change what it means to be human. So that's the big danger there. And that's something we also really need to be aware of.
Definitely. And just a couple more things to add, and then I know you want to get into the transhumanism piece. Pluto rules addictions and obsessions, and also real deal healing modalities. So I feel like one of the positives of this Pluto and Aquarius transit is it's going to become very mainstream in a trendy way to heal our addiction with technology and the cell phones and AI. For those that are addicted to it, I think there may be healing centers or healing protocols that we will be able to do, because I don't know about you guys, but we're freaking addicted to our phones over here and social media for sure. I think most of us are. And that is a problem, right? Because we don't want to be operating from that attachment to technology. We want to be operating from attachment to our own internal mind, body, spirit connection, right? So I think that's going to be one of the positives that comes from it. Going to be really, really interesting. Also, in 2026, starting on July 26, 2026, the North Node will move out of Pisces, where it is right now, into the sign of Aquarius. And we will have the North Node and Pluto together in Aquarius. Why this is significant is because the North Node, which is a calculated point of where the solar eclipses happen from our Earth's perspective, for those of you who don't know, represents our collective higher purpose and what's in alignment for us to be embracing. So from July 26, 2026, going until pretty much all of 2027, can't remember the date that transit's over, forgive me, you guys. But what's in alignment for us to be embracing is Aquarius. So not necessarily make technology all about your life, but Aquarius is innovation and the future. It's going to be very important for us to embrace the innovations while at the same time keeping our humanness and our organic nature and balancing the two. Because these innovations that are happening, they're happening for a reason. And if they weren't meant to be here, it wouldn't be allowed on the planet. And I think in universal law, it wouldn't be allowed. So it's happening for a reason, right? And we're just at the beginning of it right now.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, and I totally resonate with what you're saying and what you're seeing astrologically. And I think that's, maybe as the last word on transhumanism, it's a choice between organic evolution or digital evolution. So what these technocrats, what these transhumanists want to do is they want to change, like they believe that we came from the apes, or the human-like apes, and then they want to have a new species coming out of us, a cyborg species. That's what Aldous Huxley, and I talk about this in my book, A World in Transition. I go really deep into transhumanism, lay out the background, and talk about the spirituality and also the ethical implications for us. That's what Aldous. Julian Huxley, the brother of Aldous Huxley, who was also who thought of the concept of Big Brother, right? So his brother Julian Huxley launched the term transhumanism. So, and he said there's going to be a new species coming from human. That's actually what transhumanism means. So it's not serving us. It's not using AI, not using these technologies to serve us. It's using these technologies to change us. And that's where that's where the big danger comes from. Because if you do that, you're going to fall in frequency. Because if you try to introduce disruptive technology in the body, where you really change your consciousness, like Musk says, or we're going to be able to have X-ray vision, with special lenses, and you're going to implant chips like Neuralink. This is exactly what Neuralink is doing. And that's where I think you have to be really careful of, because it's one thing, for example, to help a person who has no arm and to give him a bionic arm. I'm all for freedom. If that person wants it, that's fine. But that person had a handicap. That person lost his arm, and that person's life is improved by having a bionic arm. It's another thing to, as a fully healthy human, to have chips inserted in your brain, to, for example, connect with Google in 3 seconds and have all the encyclopedic knowledge in the world. Is that really necessary? In my opinion, no. And in my opinion, that will change what it means to be human. So that's where transhumanism is. So we got to really, in those times, really see the difference and really be very, very discerning to see, on the other hand, where it serves us, and on the other hand, the trap, and I call it a trap because it wants to entrap the human soul. It wants to entrap the human soul, is the trap of transhumanism. So that's something, maybe as last message, is that something we have to be really discerning about and really see who is doing what, who is saying we have to do what, and we have the last word in this. So that's really important.
Yeah, for sure. Very, very well said. Any closing remarks that you want to make before we finish up?
Not really. I think I've said the most important things.
Awesome. Well, I think this is going to be a continued subject that we maybe touch base with, because it is starting to be a really big part of our lives and is developing and innovating with every day that goes on. So let us know, you guys, what you think of AI from a spiritual perspective and the astrology of it in the comments below. Thank you all so much for joining us. Please remember to like this video, subscribe to the Meg Moonbeam and Jens Pateo YouTube and Rumble channels, and check out our upcoming retreat, Jens's book, all our offerings in the description box below. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.